Guess we come to this video now, right? How do we mitigate cash flow issues, or what do we do when we're quite strapped for cash flow? Welcome to the Subcontractors Toolkit. Today I am going to talk about measures for when that bank balance starts to go negative, or making sure that bank balance doesn't go negative. As a subcontractor, you will generally be negative cash flow at the start of a project, or at least the project will be negatively cash flowed. During the lifetime of the project, towards the end of the project, you will probably turn cash flow positive if you've got profit in the job. So you will pay for things like labor and materials before you get paid. That's how the construction industry works, and that's how main contractors structure payment terms. So how do we mitigate those cash flow issues, or what do we do when we're quite strapped for cash flow? Firstly, for you to understand how deep negatively cash flow you're going, you need to be doing a cash flow forecast. Is it 50 grand in 2 months? Is it 60 grand in 3 months? When is my deepest point and how much is it? Now, I've done a video on how to complete a cash flow forecast, so check that video out. Also, you can get our cash flow forecast template. Be sure to grab that template, watch the video, and complete a cash flow forecast so you understand where you're heading with cash flow. Now we wanted to talk about how do we mitigate these things. So I'm going to run through a couple of things that you can do to limit how negative your cash flow goes. One method is by talking to the bank and getting an overdraft on your bank account. The overdraft on the bank account is like taking a little loan out. It will allow your bank balance to go negative, and it might potentially allow you to ride out a month or so of just going negative before you come back up positive. It's something that most businesses should have, is an overdraft for a just in case. Very handy to have, and most banks, you can talk to them and apply for it. So that's like the backup, right? There should be other things that you implement as well. Putting your subcontractors, for example, if you have subcontractors, and putting your material on, say, a 30-day payment term invoice, so you can buy the materials, get invoice, and not have to pay that for 30 days, and hopefully you get paid before you have to pay for those invoices or those subcontractors. That means you're not dipping into your pocket to pay before you get paid. So simple strategy, but it should be the case on every job. Another thing that you can look at is there's companies out there like Capital on Tap that will provide you with a company credit card. Obviously you have to apply for it as well, but if you can put things like materials onto the credit card, then again, you're helping with your cash flow, and in the best circumstance, obviously you're getting paid before you pay for it. Now, a couple other things that I would do as a company to mitigate these cash flow issues is, very importantly, understand your payment terms and when contractually you have to get your application for payment in. Make sure that you're always communicating with the opposing QS. Push back if you feel like you've been unfairly valued or they're not paying something for some reason. We want those application for payment to be the I's dotted, the T's crossed. So that means they go in on time. Do not give them an excuse to not pay you because you submitted it a day late, etc. Make sure that your variations are well substantiated, that you've got instructions for them, all of that kind of stuff. And again, push back on the client if they're knocking you on things. You should have an understanding of how much you need that application to make based on how much you've spent. Make sure you're getting that value in the application to stay ahead of your cash flow. I'm going to give you another thing here that is important. This is in the case of you put your application in on time, the client has given you a payment certificate, or they have not given you a payment certificate. Then the date for payment rolls around and you haven't been paid. So firstly, be picking up that phone and chasing for the payment. I know you don't want to seem annoying to a client, but they are contractually obliged to pay you by that payment date. So hit them up, ask when the payment's coming, make sure they're aware that it's late. You need to be chasing it. The second option that you have here, this is inherent in most contracts, that you have the right to remove from site due to non-payment. But what's really important is you put the notice in first. so that you meeting your contractual obligations, that basically says if we are not paid within 7 days, we will be removing ourselves from site. So we will demobilize from site, because if you just remove yourself from site without the notice, you can cause some issues there. Now, by putting this notice in, you can stop how much you're spending after those 7 days when you demob, so you're not widening those cash flow issues. And second, most of the time when you actually submit one of these notices, it kicks the client into gear to go, oh, let's pay. So hopefully that doesn't even get to the point of you demobbing, because they pay you before the 7 days. Yeah, that's kind of what I had today. I hope that you're implementing that help you with mitigating cash flow issues. Thank you for watching. Check out some of my other videos and hit that like and subscribe so that you get notification when we put these genuine, helpful videos out to subcontractors. Thank you, and see you in the next one.